7:01, I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Before we commence, I have two changes to the agenda I'd like to make. First, I'd ask that we add agenda item 9H, which is a discussion of the emergency vehicle preemption system letter from DOT. Can I have a motion to add that, please? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The second change is agenda item 9D. I'd like to hold that agenda item until our next meeting. When I was reviewing the document again tonight, something popped out at me I want to get some clarification on that I think could have financial implications to the town.
Move that we postpone agenda item 9D until our next meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. All right, so our next item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Charlie, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, here present, we have Selectman Nordell, Selectman Muska, Deputy First Selectman D'Souza, and myself, and joining us virtually via Zoom is Selectman Baker. Approval of the meeting minutes from the June 28th Board of Selectmen special meeting.
I'll move that we approve the Board of Selectmen special meeting minutes from June 28th, 2023 as presented.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All members voted in the affirmative. And I don't have the July 6th meeting minutes. Did that get circulated to you guys? Yeah.
It did.
Okay. So I don't have them in my packet, but if you have them, I'm prepared to have a vote on it. We want to take that forward.
I'll move that we approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes from July 6th, 2023 as presented.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain.
It was Alan.
Alan and Charlie abstained. Sarah and Marie voted in the affirmative, so motion carries.
Thank you.
Bring my agenda. Public participation. This is one of two opportunities for members of the public to address the Board of Selectmen. If you would like to do so, please identify yourself by your name and address and state your business. I'll first allow the opportunity to those people who are here present in the room, and then turn to folks online and offer them the same opportunity. Is there anybody here who would like to address the members of the board? Yes, sir. Name and address.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street, Broadbrook. I noticed that we did not have the Scout Hall lease amendment on the agenda. Again, June 24th, we came to a final agreement. Apparently, it's still being lawyered.
Yes.
Getting a lot of flack over this. The agreement is not drastically different than what we already filed last fall. Issues are coming up. I realize that the next opportunity would be your first meeting in August. I think that would be very prudent. I'm getting, some people are getting very discouraged by the delay, which my personal opinion, I think is unnecessary. It's a one-page document. It shouldn't have taken more than 10 minutes to go through it. If it's not getting through, I think there is a legal problem in the legal representation. I don't care what's going on in their world. This is our business. And I think as a citizen, we have the right to get this accomplished in a timely manner. It's been a month. That's a long time. So I would like to see this get to the table and get addressed properly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll tell you, it'll be on the agenda as soon as we have the title search signed off on, which was expected to be done Tuesday. And now it's expected to be done tomorrow. So I can't do it if I don't have it. But as soon as we have it, it will be active. Other comments from members of the public? Is there anyone online who would like to address the members of the Board of Selectmen? Okay, there will be another opportunity later in the meeting. On to resignations. We have two, both from the Diversity Council. Joe Blackwood and Anna Rivera have both submitted their intentions to resign. So we need to accept their resignations.
How did they do so? Did they do so in writing? Because,
Yeah, by email.
okay, because we didn't receive that, so I didn't know how they.
No, they submitted an email, not a wet signature, but it's not required for a wet signature in an appointed capacity, in an elected capacity it is.
Okay.
Make a motion that we accept the resignation of Joe Blackwood and Anna Rivera from the Diversity Council at their request.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Reappointments. We have 7 reappointments to the Capital Improvement Planning Committee for regular terms that are 1 year in duration. And we have an appointment of an alternate member to the Agriculture Committee. I'm fine taking the CIP committee members a la carte or as a group, however you guys prefer.
And they've all been contacted and want to continue serving?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Denise and I apologize for not being here tonight, but I told them it wasn't necessary that I can see an issue with that.
I'll move to reappoint Robert Leach, Richard Pippin Jr., Denise Menard, Adam Meehan, Heather Spencer, Pete Larice, and David Swaim to the Capital Improving Planning Committee as regular members for terms expiring July 31st, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's all members in favor.
Excuse me, Jason, who was your second?
Charlotte, I think.
No, Marie.
Oh,
Murray.
Sure.
And did you appoint the alternate as well?
not yet.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have anybody currently waiting to get on the capital improvement? Planning committee?
Not that I'm aware of.
Or the insurance?
No, I've gotten no new applications in the office in the last couple of months.
There is, didn't want to say that.
So number 8,
I'll move to reappoint Valerie Galinsky to the Agricultural Commission as an alternate member for a term expiring August 1st, 2026.
Second.
motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to unfinished business. I'd ask that we table this until after our executive session.
Move that we table agenda item 8A until after executive session.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. So in your packet, we have an amendment to pension plan appendix G, which is pertinent to non-affiliated employee participants. As you know, we've been in the process of updating both the underlying core doc and each of the appendices. What this does is it accepts the revisions to the plan that were made in 2017, I think. Either 2017 or 2019, the most recent revisions to the core document. And it also includes the chief of police as in the unaffiliated or the non-affiliated employee categories instead of following appendix B. Those are the substantive changes. Al, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, really just pointing out the fact that that had to be changed to accommodate the people moving from B to G. But that's it.
So, any questions or comments on this, or can I ask for a motion?
So just a quick question, so we only had one position moved.
Two.
Two, both of those moved from there, yeah. Make a motion that we accept the amended change to appendix G as presented on dated June 1st, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And you will be delayed. Now we're on to a discussion of the Milliman software tool licensing agreement. So there are a number of employees, I'm gonna say the number is 140, who are kind of floating around, in the pension space that have not been vested, but who no longer work for the town, so they're not going to be vested. And every time that we go and clear out those folks with the contributions that they've made, there's a fee that's incurred by the town, if we do them on an individualized basis, which is, I think, $400 an employee. However, this is an issue that largely results from Board of Education employees. When you have people who come in for a year as a paraprofessional and then move on to something else, or they're a long-term sub, or whatever the circumstances may be, folks who don't stay long enough to get vested in any of the appendices that we have, but have made contributions into it. So this is a cleanup effort. It's as frustrating for Milliman as it is for us and for the Board of Education. So rather than incurring those costs, Milliman has agreed to allow us to use their software, which will factor out those people who are in that program and get them out of it. At no cost to us, but in order to use their software, it's proprietary and we need to sign an agreement.
What's the cost of this?
There is no cost.
There is no cost.
And it cleans up a problem that's been a problem for like 30 years.
You know, what will that do to the other post-employment benefits? Aren't those based upon the number of people that are on that list?
It shouldn't affect other post-employment benefits because I don't recall, let me know if you think otherwise, Al, but I don't believe that BOE employees are eligible for other post-employment benefits.
I don't believe they are.
OPEB's typically police officers, and might be public works.
You know, other post-employment benefits should be for anybody that's employed by the town, at least one thing.
Except the normal retirement date for most employees is 65 and they're Medicare eligible and they fall out of the plan. Any other questions or comments on the license agreement?
So this doesn't have to be approved by Board of Ed?
No. The Board of Ed doesn't have anything other than having a representative on the pension board. The Board of Education does not have a role in administration of the pension. That's a town function. Well, it's a pension board function with representatives from any group that has more than a fixed number of employees.
I'll make a motion that we allow, we have to sign this?
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we allow the first selectman Jason Bowser to enter into a legal agreement between the town of East Soldier and Milliman Incorporated for a software tool licensing agreement.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. So we are coming up on a whole slew of negotiations, where demands to negotiate have been exchanged between parties, and we need to formulate negotiation teams. So I've enumerated in the agenda 3 of those. There's a 4th one that we're not ready to start yet, so I left that off. But we need Board of Selectmen representatives to negotiate both the labor and pension agreements with the Public Works Union, the pension appendix with WPCA, and the supervisor's pension appendix. Any volunteers?
As a member of the pension board, I'd like to be involved in all the pension negotiations.
That means Public Works labor too, buddy.
I know.
Excellent. Anybody want to fight him for it?
No. I did public works last time, so. Although it wasn't bad.
On a roll.
I take water pollution control and I'll take DPW.
I'm sorry, what?
I take the water pollution control authority and I'll take DPW.
Sure.
You don't mind if we do that?
Okay, good. I gotta be there anyway.
I'll do DPW and you can do,
WPCA.
WPCA, yeah.
Can I have a motion to appoint Alan Baker as the Board of Selectmen representative for the pension negotiations between the WPCA and the town of East Windsor and the Supervisors Union in the town of East Windsor?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And may I please have a motion to appoint Marie D'Souza to the DPW Labor and Pension negotiating team?
I'll make that.
So moved.
Don't be so hurry to get rid of it.
Motion has been made, made by Nordell, seconded by Baker. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks. We're gonna be getting work on that in short order.
I have
I'm
a
hoping that those will
procedural
be,
question.
I'm sorry?
I have a procedural question. You put Alan in with the WPCA. WPCA does not negotiate with the pension board, the union does.
We understand what the intention is there. That's
That's
a difference without a distinction, really.
I just wanted to make sure it's clear. You're fine.
Yeah, these are all, it's management and labor. It's not political entities. Okay, we're gonna hold 9D, which is the discussion of South Road lease agreements. So you'll recall that there's been some transitions in emergency management pertaining to the formulation of the grant application documentation. For a long time, Judy Tweedley had done that. She asked to be replaced. She'd done it for long enough and wanted to step away. And so we appointed Gail Carolus to do that for the last filing, or rather through the fiscal year. And in this case, both Gail and Kim would like to split the stipend and split the work. And this is, the union approached me actually asking that we consider doing that. So I'm bringing that to you guys for your consideration. So both Gail and Kim are interested and would like to split the responsibility.
And what's the state do?
$1,000.
A year?
So it's 500 apiece.
Thanks for doing that math.
I realized the brevity of my answer could have led someone to think it was $1,000 per person, and I wanted to just clarify it was $1,000 total. I missed you here.
But what split man, just for the record. I'll make a motion that we authorize the approval of the emergency management site bid pertaining to assistant treasurer Kim,
Scamato
Kim Scavato,
and Gail.
in Gail Corollas, for a stipend of $1,000 divided to $500 each individual.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion?
So since we've already done this previously for Gail, this will basically void that agreement, and so there'll be new paperwork for both of them. Because we've already approved Gail for the full dollar amount, correct? So now we're adding
June 30th.
through June 30th.
Yeah,
Okay,
we just did it for one time. It's $500.
Okay. okay. Just making sure.
So would you kindly put it in writing so there's no confusion?
I would be happy to memorialize. In fact, I think I have to.
Yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are you lagging or just going slowly?
I don't know. I'm just answering when you ask for the call.
All right.
I would ask the same. Are you guys lagging?
I have
Let's see.
So next week, try.
Okay, so
after the meeting on the South Road. I think I have a question on that, but I'll wait till. I'll email them.
okay. So there is repair work that needs to be done by the railroad crossing on Wells Road that is owned by the Connecticut Trolley. And they have a 10-foot right of way that encapsulates the rail lines where that is their property to do. We are in the process, actually starting next week, we'll be doing several road projects on Wells Road. And as part of that, they approached us and asked if we would be willing to do the repair work along their trolley crossing. We said that, you know, we're gonna have people out there anyway, it's a de minimis cost that's easily absorbed into the project. We could do that, but we need to make sure that there isn't any future liability to the town. So they, working with Josh, we developed a hold harmless agreement so that if this is in place, we can do that work for them with the folks that are already gonna be out there doing it and the town's interest. Nice, it's a neighborly thing to do.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the first selectman to enter into an agreement between the town of East Windsor and the Connecticut Electric Railroad Association Incorporated as presented. And authorize him to sign.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I would just like to add that because I'm sure someone will say, why aren't we requesting the trolley museum pay for this and have them do this and everything else? It's my understanding that when that section of Wells Road was paved last year, that a mistake was actually made and they paved up to the wrong side of the rail and caused an actual issue for the trolley museum that now needs to be remedied as well. So just, you know, I can see someone saying, oh, why is the town paying for this for the trolley museum? Let them do it themselves or pay for the project themselves. I would just like to add that so that it gives a little bit of a reason as to why it's happening.
I'm not sure that's entirely on point, but I will say that the paving company that we use, we are not using anymore because of performance. And there were a litany of issues, so it certainly could be that. I haven't confirmed that with them, but there were enough issues with the paving company that certainly could have been the case. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are now on to G, tax refunds.
I'll move to approve the tax refunds totaling $675.64.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so the added item, the discussion of the DOT letter pertaining to the emergency vehicle preemption system. They are doing a repair project on the I-91 bridge. And as part of that, this got circulated around to you guys, right?
I have it.
I'll give you the opportunity to take a look at it. But the long and short of it is it provides for emergency vehicles to have a trigger so that they can slip the lights on the off ramps of I-91 on Bridge Street. The DOT would be installing the trigger, we'd be responsible for the equipment thereafter, and it's a public safety considerations. I have 3 weeks from the 13th to return that to DOT if we agree to the terms.
The town's gonna be responsible for that light?
The town is going to be responsible for the switch after it's
With the
installed. After it's installed. They're gonna pay for it, they're gonna put it in, and then we're gonna be responsible for maintenance thereafter.
So
Right.
is this switch a trigger for both emergency vehicles coming off the highway or just vehicles passing down Bridge Street?
It's on the highway, I believe. I don't know that to be true.
Or all four ways? Just east west?
Yeah.
So one point.
It's southwestern.
It's not for all vehicles, it's all for vehicles
Equipped with the sense, right,
which is at this point.
Fire department,
Yeah, they have the same one down on, Main Street.
right.
I don't see where it's just east-west. All right, so there's your answer.
Authorization signed. I'll move that the town of East Windsor agrees to and allows the first selectman to sign the agreement with Department of Transportation regarding EVPS equipment on Route 140 Bridge Street.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Running copy that looks like a question mark. It's really just a square.
I'm assuming that the fire departments have a, toggle switch or something in their vehicle so they can stop it and turn it back on.
I believe it's mounted to the light.
It's just, yeah,
It works off, yeah, it's a strobe system.
It's
When everything's around,
I,
it engages.
I just wanted to make sure I understood what I was reading.
Okay. On July 7th, Representative Foster and I were pleased to welcome Senator Blumenthal to East Windsor to meet with residents of the School Hill neighborhood to discuss the benefits of one of the 3 congressionally directed spending awards received by the town of East Windsor. This one to extend city water into that neighborhood, which consists of the Lane Drive, Helena Drive, and portions of Old Ellington Road and Windsorville Road. The $1.2 million in federal money, coupled with funds from the state's community investment fund, will allow for this much needed project to be completed with no local tax dollars. I actually just learned today that there's additional PPH dollars that'll be available for that too. So we're working with both state and federal agencies to free up that money to start with those projects. On Saturday, the 15th, I participated in emergency preparedness discussions with state agencies and municipal representatives from the region in anticipation of flood level rain and thunderstorms. Thankfully, our portion of the state was spared from the worst of the anticipated weather. On Monday, the 17th, I was pleased to be a guest reader at the summer camp at East Windsor Park. With the theme for the day centered around community, I brought some of my son Elliot's favorite books to share with the 20 or so kids that were participating in that activity. The park itself was absolutely packed that day. Kids and families were enjoying the waterfront, splash pad, and various picnic areas. We're very much looking forward to the commencement of the installation of the new playground up there in the coming weeks. We've done the walkthrough already for that, so that project will be starting very soon. Signups for the 2023 back to school program are still open through next Friday. Forms for those are available through social services. And to participate in the program, you must be income eligible, must be an East Windsor resident, and your children or child must be registered in East Windsor schools. Social Services is also taking applications for renters rebate through next Friday. I'm sorry, through September 28th. This is an income-based thing where you need to have either met age or disability and income criteria by December 31st of 2022. You can find out more about that program at Social Services. A week from Tuesday is our National Night Out. It's coming up quickly. And this is an annual community building campaign that promotes police and community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie, to make neighborhoods safer and more caring places to live. Park and Rec is organizing the event again, and they're looking for East Windsor organizations that would be interested in hosting a booth. You can reserve a spot by calling Parks and Recreation until July 25th. And then I'm just going to offer a caution that there are a number of summertime construction projects underway that residents should be aware of. Town is doing paving on certain roads in town, mostly very side roads this year, but nonetheless, we're out there doing that. Connecticut Water obviously is doing the water main replacement on Main Street. That's going to be going on probably into October. And every single crossing from Wesley Road to Highland Avenue needs to be cut, piped, and replaced. There's a lot of every driveway, every house, every business, that whole stretch. So it's going to be, it'll be like that for a little while. Connecticut DOT is gonna be milling and resurfacing Route 5 from the South Windsor Town Line all the way to Newberry Road. That project is gonna be done mainly at night, not entirely, but mainly at night. And is scheduled to begin on August 9th and continue through September 6th. So as you're out and about, please just keep an eye out for those projects, just to make sure we're keeping everybody safe. That's all I have. Marie, what do you have?
Yeah, the only thing I have, I attended the police commission meeting on Wednesday, July 12th. They went over their budget and expenditures, everything seems to be in order. The traffic authority line, there was concern about Department of Public Works putting up the digital signs on Rockville Road. They thought they were gonna be up on the committee meeting, they weren't. Brought that to Jason's attention, and I'm not sure where that stands.
I'll be up by the end of the day tomorrow.
Be up by the end of the day tomorrow. The monthly report from the deputy chief, one dispatcher has left, so there's a total of 5 openings currently down at the police department. They discussed that the Prospect Hill Tower was working well, and as far as the Cromwell P25 pump system is concerned, so that's good news. And that's all I have at this point.
Thank you. Alan,
I was on vacation, and not all the minutes are out, so I wasn't able to review everything, so I have no report for you this week.
all right. We had a good vacation.
Very good.
Sarah?
On July 10th, I attended the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. 3 families have inquired about having a tree planted or a bench made in memory of their loved one, since we approved the memorial tree planting policy a few meetings ago. July is Parks and Recreation Month, and the theme is where community grows. Each day there will be an activity or something special happening at one of our town parks. And you can follow along on a calendar as to what's available on the Parks and Recreation Facebook page. July 21st is Parks and Recreation Professionals Day. As of this meeting, we were into week 2 of summer camp and have reached capacity for all weeks. Each week of camp, there will be a reverse field trip where a guest comes to the park rather than the campers being transported elsewhere. This is something that was implemented during the COVID pandemic and has worked out rather well. The waterfront at East Windsor Park was closed for a few days due to high levels of bacteria per the North Central Health Department. Everyone who entered the park during that time was offered the resident rate to offset the inconvenience. This is possibly due to stormwater runoff or animal feces. It is important to note that the splash pad was open during this time and not affected. Fox 61 News came by and interviewed some park attendees, and all positive comments were made. Park Director Melissa Maltesi noted that Enfield Daycare and Enfield Family Resource Center was renting out the park for 2 days that week, and we were happy to welcome them. And they were 2 of our largest rentals. The summer concert series has been well attended on Thursday nights thus far. Jason already mentioned National Night Out, which will be August 1st this year, and the Broadbrook Fire Department will hold their annual car show at East Windsor Park on Labor Day weekend. The Arts and Culture Committee meeting on July 11th was canceled. On July 13th, I attended the Veterans Commission meeting. The group is planning ahead for their annual Veterans Day road race, which will be held on November 11th this year. Fundraising letters are out and money is starting to come in. Next month, the group will decide on shirt quantities and what color the shirt will be this year. The commission went over how this year's Memorial Day program went and discussed ways to improve for next year.
That's awesome.
That included doing a sound check, the lineup order, addressing gaps between marchers, and possibly offering water at the green for marchers after the parade. The commission voted to contribute $2,000 towards the roof that was just replaced at the American Legion Post 40. And then this Sunday, 3rd time's the charm, hopefully, for the rubber duck and cardboard boat race over at Trolley Crossing on Mill Street.
I'm sorry to share, that's already been postponed.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's too bad.
Went out this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
It's the levels thing.
It's back up. Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
I only have 1 more week.
And we're ready tomorrow.
I'm gone.
Oh, Oh, and you did a vote, right?
Yeah, it's sitting in the garage.
Oh,
Stays.
and that's all that I have.
The sign out front still has Sunday's date.
Yeah, the Lions Club maintains that.
Okay.
We'll get it fixed. Charlie,
Okay. July 10th, I attended the Wales Point Fire District Special Meeting. The district residents unanimously approved the fire commission to enter a 4-year lease agreement for the acquisition of a 2022 Ford Expedition, which will serve as the fire chief's vehicle. The fire commission's regular meeting for the month of July was canceled. On July 19th, I attended the Board of Finance meeting last night. The most significant of subjects to come from that meeting last night was the extra $1 million given to the town from the state of Connecticut in lieu of our presence of a casino here in town. And that's it. That's all I have.
all right, public participation, this is the public's second opportunity to address members of the board. If you'd like to do so, please identify yourself by name and address and state your business. I'll first ask if there's anybody in the room who would like to do it, and then turn to anybody online. Yes, sir.
Wayne Sherry, Depot Street. I don't know if you're aware of this, many people might not be, but there's been bear sightings around, the park.
I have not heard that.
The reservoir, at least 3. And, when all the little kids running around, that's just kind of scary. I just want to raise the flag up the pole and let you know that.
Yeah, that is news to me.
Be aware of this.
Have you seen them?
No. So you?
No, that's why I'm asking. I just want to make sure it's just.
Well, there.
Oh, no.
Back there.
They,
At your background?
yes, I'm crossing the road on East Road.
I saw it on East Road.
Twice. Now, you ask if I seen it, no, but everybody at the reservoir last year saw it.
Okay.
They scurried the kids off inside. There's really no place. They could have been wherever they put it, they
Yeah.
closed the door. So, you know, I don't want to. They're nice. They're little teddy bears, but they can be very, very nasty.
I saw the revenant.
What's that?
They can be very vicious.
And they can run too.
Thank you for that. I had not heard that.
Yeah, that's the people at the rest. Because last year they had to huddle everybody up and get them out of there.
Any other public comment? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Paul Anderson, 89 Main Street. Thank you, Board of Selectmen, for a very efficient meeting.
So far.
The rest of it's your problem.
Is there anybody online who would like to address the members of the board? Seeing none, we will have an executive session. It's to include the 5 members of the board and Deputy Chief Park. May I have a motion?
Move that we go into executive session, including all 5 selectmen and Deputy Chief Roger Hart.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in executive session at 7:39 PM. All right, we are out of executive session at 7:48 PM. Return to the call on the agenda and ask that we take up agenda item 8A. Document is before you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the first selectman to sign the transition separation agreement and release between the town of East Windsor and Roger Hart.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. I'd just like to thank you very much for your service. It has been a pleasure working with you over these years, and I have learned a lot. All in favor? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Al.
I would also echo the first selectman's comments. Thank you for your service for all these years and wish you the best in the future.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. No further business to come before the Board of Selectmen. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion, we adjourn at 7:49 PM.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are unanimously adjourned at 7:49 PM.